Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Heavenly Father, all glory and honor goes to you for the times that we've fallen short, didn't live up to your expectations. For the times that we have sinned, we ask for your forgiveness, and we also ask for your help to improve in the future. We thank you for bringing this group together, for being born and living in the greatest country in the world, and in all of history actually, for being in this community, for patriots that came before us and set this up for us. Help us to discern your will for this community and this country. Help us to preserve our freedoms. And we ask all this through your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Okay. I'm going to do a roll call. And the clerk is on vacation, so I'm doing double duty. We've got proxies for Larry Vitala, Jennifer Consolino, our clerk, Reagan Freitag, Marcy Cuevas, Steve Spontek, and Vicki Bozen. And then the ones that I'm going to call out, I think are still here, so I'm going to call them out. Myself, I'm here, obviously. Jimmy Shake. Here. Jay Rhodey.
Here.
Rose Reinders.
Here.
Brent Porfilio.
Here.
John Walters.
Present.
Ruben Dasmino.
Present.
Carmen Morella.
Present.
Mike Carlson left. And Mike Bonomo.
Present.
Dan Fialco.
Present.
John Walters.
Present again.
Oh, Christina Clausen. What did I have you down?
Present.
Did I miss somebody?
Miss me,
Oh, Dave Andier.
present.
Just go by memory.
Okay. Next thing we got is, we'll give a report from myself. The main thing that we wanted to do this time is we wanted to get endorsements rolling. So we met earlier to do endorsements, and we endorsed some people, but the group wanted to talk. And I'm so glad that you guys came from the fire department, because one of the things that everybody needs to know is that the difference between getting endorsed by us and not is that we're going to go out with a friggin' army. We're going to go out. We have 471 people in our group, and we are all going to be out in this election to win it. We're not going to take any survivors. We're going to spend money to get in these elections. We're going to be sending out 2 mailers from the Homer Republicans with the endorsements, and that's going to be a big deal because we don't know who's got opponents and who don't. But the Homer Republicans are going to work hard so that we all can win. In 2020, when that election happened, we ran 18 people, and we ran 21 people, and 18 of the 21 won. And we won by large numbers, 700 and 800 votes. In the primary, I won despite probably a little over 200 grand being spent against me, and I won by, I forgot.
13,000.
14,000 actually.
14, whoever it was, but I won good. In the general, the same thing happened again, and I won by over 3,500. I don't know where the final tally is going to be. The point about all this is I won every precinct. Why? It's because of the group here. Because we've hit them with mail, we hit them with the phones, we go out and knock the doors, and we go on Facebook and the rest of the social media, and that's the only place that I look at it where social media is no longer like it was 2, 3, 4 years ago. People don't like it anymore. So the number of people that go on it is less and less and less all the time. So right now you have groups that are what we call trolls, and they seem like they are real loud right? And that everybody is with them. But the reality is, it's not true. It's proven in the last election. I won every Homer precinct, every single one. And I was thinking, I might have some trouble because of the noise. But my brain tells me that there was just noise. So how do they do it? It's the way I've said to do it for the Republican Party for the last 5 years, but nobody ever does it. This election cycle, we are going to do it. From now on, whenever you see a post on Facebook, especially from the Homer Republicans, like and share it. As many people as you can. If we have 471 people sharing and liking our stuff, it's going to go viral all over the place, right? We're not going to just play games and just go out there. We're going to win. And we're going to do everything we can to win for every one of our candidates. And if anybody messes with one of our candidates, they mess with all of our candidates. We have like an old-time crew from the old neighborhoods, so we don't take it where like somebody starts messing with Mike Bonomo. That means they mess with 471 people, not just one, all of us. So as long as we remain tight like that, where we stand together as one, show me one block in Will County or the state of Illinois that moves in unison with that many people. And it'll be real hard to find one. I don't think there is one. But we're going to do better than we've done in the past. And we're going to all work together. So remember that. So if someone's giving you garbage, you got to let me know. And we'll get the whole group on it. Because that's the only way we can stop all these trolls that make up lies, rumors, and innuendos. And the trolls are basically the Democratic Party joined by the people that were in the Republican Party prior to 2020 that decided that they lost, so they're going to join the Democratic Party together so they could try and beat us. And that's what happened in the election in 2020. That's what happened in the election this time around. The Democrats, that includes all the people from the Village of Homer Glen board that lost, and all the people from the township board that lost. So they are all working with Democrats. And so keep away from friending up with them because they're going to stick it to you, just so you know. Especially when they find out that you're endorsed by us. So that's a word of warning for anybody running that we're going to take care of you, but if anyone starts approaching you, be careful of them. Just because they say they're Republican, if they were with that other group, they're no good. So anyway, I think I made my point clear enough with that, but remember to like and share everything that we do, and we will win. So we had 3 people from the fire board that when we went to talk about endorsements, they, unfortunately, nobody really knew too much about the fire board. So when Vince came in, he probably felt like he was under deadly attack with a bunch of bazookas. He was the only guy here. So what we'd like to have, well, we didn't talk about it as a group, but what I'd like to do rather than have you guys come back another time is just stand up and give us a little talk about what the fire department is. We'd like to hear from all of you. So Vince could start it, or Vince, you're the president, right?
Yeah. Can I ask, could it come up to the front? So
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
You want us all 3 of us? Let me just say that our discussions when we were considering this was mostly the taxes. We're number 3 on taxes on the fire department, or is it number 2? It was number 3. So the school districts are number 1, right? Fire districts are number 3, and that was our basic.
Right, okay. And I understand that, and I can appreciate that. And as a Republican, I think, well, I can speak for my other 2 partners here. We are all Republicans. And having said that, we want to be fiscally responsible. I can't stand here and commit to you what we're going to do in terms of raising the taxes or not raising the taxes, or keeping things status quo, because that decision hasn't been made yet. So you guys are going to have to make a decision whether or not you endorse us just based on what you think about our character. I think Steve can speak for me. I hope he can. We've known each other for a long time. I've endorsed him for a long time. He knows what my feelings are and my positions are. I can say, we are doing everything we can to try to balance the idea of cutting costs and keeping the district safe. We actually, for the first time, and I think we're the only department around here who's doing this, we're rebuilding an engine instead of buying a new one, which is going to be like a third of the cost. So things like that are going on. Going to continue to go on. You know, there's costs that we have, insurance and everything else that are also, you know, just like everybody else in their normal life, are just going up. And so we have to sit with the treasurer and see where we're at. So I wish I could give you a commitment to that. I just want to be honest with you that I can't. So I'll let these guys.
We appreciate all this.
Thank you.
And I know Vince for going back in the HAC days.
Oh, 20 years.
You know, so, yeah, it's a long time ago. My kid was a little kid, and he's always been fiscally sound. As a matter of fact, I'm the one that got him appointed to the fire board. When I used to be a trustee, Fazio didn't want to do the appointments, so I used to do the appointments for the fire board, and I appointed Vince to that position. And he was, during the time that I was there, he was doing a good job.
And I agree with that, he is doing a good job.
Pardon me?
I said I agree with that, he is doing a really
Very
good
stand-up
job.
person,
Yeah.
very respectful.
So basically, same as
What-
what
to
he
say your
said.
name.
Yeah, my name is Stephanie Mitchell. I've lived in Homer Glen since 1999. I'm a retired firefighter paramedic. I have 20 plus years in the fire service, and that's what brought me to being at first a fire commissioner and now a fire trustee. I've been doing that for a little over about a year and a half now. So our main goal too is to save the taxpayer money. And like Vince had said, like doing such things as instead of buying new equipment, which I mean, of course would be very nice, but it's not, you know, like nowadays it's better to then rebuild our engines. It's a lot cheaper and you're basically getting a brand new engine out of all that stuff. So that's some of the things that we're trying to do to cut costs. I know Steve, I've just met you in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
But my kids grew up and I've known Vicki Bozen for years and years because our kids grew up together since probably kindergarten, so. Is there anything left for you to say?
No, there's pretty much nothing left. Thank you. To my esteemed colleagues here, my name's Ken Fian. I've been out in Homer since 1958. I've been involved with the fire department since 1973 at Homer. I've worked in Monee, Homer, currently a fire inspector for Lockport. Like I say, I worked as chief up at Homer for several years, and I was a fireman there for over 20. Now, I do understand what it costs to run a fire department, and like they said, we're running bare bones. We're below minimum manning, 3 men per station, and if you've ever fought a fire to pull up with just 3 men on an engine, it's not a good feeling, but we're keeping our costs down. We're rebuilding equipment, our stations, if you've seen them, you know, we're doing the best we can. The one on Cedar Road was put up in 1958-ish. So,
You know, Ken was real instrumental in, we presented a list of repairs that needed to be done. And Ken said, let's go take a look at them specifically. So we spent one full day just going to each of the firehouses and taking a look at what they wanted to do. And we decided what they needed to do and what they, you know, what they should do and what they didn't necessarily need to do. So Ken's experience and Stephanie's experience being actual firefighters has been, to me, having never been a firefighter, I couldn't have asked for 2 better guys to work with. So that's why we're kind of running this group.
Can I ask a question?
Of course.
Wait, 1 second. You guys have anything else? Or then I just think that Dan Pialco brought it up before, mandates by the Illinois State Board or our governor, are they screwing up? And if so, what to answer what you were talking about, because we want to make sure it's not hit. Like at the county level, now that the Republicans have even number, we're going to work on telling them we don't want any more mandates. You want to give us a mandate, you're going to have to give us the money. Not us get the money for the mandates. So the question would be, how bad are you hit with all these new laws and mandates? As far as, you know, your costs go up by what you have to do. And so, like they did to the county, they said to the clerk, well, we got to have interpreters for all these certain places for voting. So how many interpreters? So then the argument was, well, we got Polish, Italian, Spanish, Mexican, you know, go down the list, but you have 20 interpreters. You know, so I mean, there's, all that is money. So then they had to hire people to be on call. And I know you guys don't have that problem, but that's for instance, you know, like.
Well, the only thing that comes to my mind immediately is the Safety Act. And how we're going to be involved is that, you know, right now, if we get into a situation, the police department goes in first, and then we go in. Not anymore. We go in first, they have to sit back. So that's going to be.
That's the new law?
That's the new law.
Yeah,
So what does that do to your, so,
Well, there's going to have to be an assessment that's made. Go ahead.
So the question, well, there's a lot of questions just in regards to that, 'cause I think a lot of people are for just with that. The idea that, you know, depending on the situation at the police, especially if, you know what I mean, if the government or whatever. I mean, how are you guys going to combat that? And then what, and Steve was more focused on the cost. I guess that's where we should leave it. What kind of training is going to be required for your guys if that whole thing is turned around? I mean, and then
Well, we talked to the
what are the
chief.
prospective
I
costs?
understand. Yeah, and I don't know that there's going to be an additional cost, to be honest with you. There might have to be some training done, which is going to be, you know, incur some cost. But I believe that we're just going to be, you know, erring on the side of caution in every case, where we just have to make a determination
Was
that
it
they're
going to
going to have
reduce
to go
the
in.
response time then, where you have to sit outside and decide what's going to happen?
It probably would,
People are going to,
yes.
that's going to affect, people are going to lose their lives.
we didn't know what you just said.
Yeah, that's correct.
So when there's situations like suicide, what else? I mean, when there's.
Any type of domestic
well,
violence.
If there's domestic problems, the police should go in first.
So if it's like a
But
speed
now
call
you
for a
guys-
battery,
Now we'll-
usually the firefighter departments will have to go in stage to make sure, like the police will come in to make sure that the scene is safe, and that's what's good for us because we don't carry.
Well, you're protected.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, well, now that it's going to change, we're not going to have that
It's gonna be open
protection,
season, that's
I
for
should say, you know, the
Somebody's
firefighters.
coding and now you got to wait to go in because you got to assess what's going on.
And just, it's the safety of the personnel of the fire department too.
So,
Right, yeah.
so besides with the safety act,
Yeah, Jay,
is there anything else coming down the line that's going to incur more costs because it's being mandated on the fire department? And we're not talking about the regular operating costs from day to day.
I know I didn't answer Steve's question directly, I just wanted to bring that up. So-
Okay.
You answered enough.
Yeah.
But, no, maybe you guys can chime in. I don't think we've got anything that specifically.
Not that we heard as of yet,
Okay.
but you know how these
You're all gonna
things
get your
snowball.
carry.
Yeah, I just don't want to.
I'm not going to make you aware of that. That's what's moment I
Yeah,
asked.
we're all gonna get considered carry.
Okay, well, thank you guys very much.
He's got his question yet.
Police
Oh, I thought he
from the
answered
make sure.
it. Sorry, Frank.
But I have a question.
Fire code about.
So, I've been told that over like the last 5 to 10 years, the services that you guys have to provide have been increased by mandates either at the county level or the state level. Like if there's an ambulance that goes to a house, you have to accompany them. That's a must, right? And then now you're first in before the police. Now, if crime goes up and you need more staff, you're gonna have to staff up then, right? If you gotta be the first one there, you have to be at every single one. But we all know that there's gonna be more criminals out. So I don't know if that's something you gotta talk to the chief about, but that might be a cost increase. And the other thing I wanted to ask was about how much of your budget is for like pensions of people that are no longer even working for you?
That's huge.
That's probably almost maybe 40% or more.
It's not quite that much.
Yeah, I don't
I
think it's
have-
quite that much.
We've only got
That's it.
one or two people pensioned out so far.
But we're an older department. and it's coming. You know, that you can anticipate the idea that there'll be more.
Oh, yes,
When
most
you're retired,
definitely.
when you're.
Well, yeah, and we haven't hired anybody in a long time, and so the people that we've had have been around for a long time, and they're gonna be eligible all at the same time really soon. So you're right, that is definitely so.
I think I think our plea to you as a board is we're doing our part to keep taxes low by not raising taxes. We're giving examples of what we're doing to basically make up or cut back. And rebuilding a fire truck engine is one example. I'm sure maybe we could find others, but collectively, when you look at your line items on your tax bill, you're up there pretty close with the school boards, right? So with us, the easy thing to do would be to raise taxes, right? The hard thing is to roll up your sleeves. Let's see what we can do collectively as a group to make adjustments, to make cutbacks, and to do the things. And we'd like your support with that, because the village of Homer Glen, the road district, the township we're all doing our part with keeping taxes low, not raising taxes, lowering taxes in many situations. Brent Porfirio just lowered the taxes by 25% at his last meeting. And we are going to lose the half share to that, but we don't have any plans as the village to raise that. So the easy thing for us to do would say, hey, we're going to raise taxes. That's the easy thing to do. So as hard as it may be, as a board though, we're looking for you to hop on board with us and to keep the taxes low in the village of Homer Glen. So we're not having, you know, our older residents move to Indiana or to Florida or have to make that hard choice because the taxes are going up. So when we do it collectively, we keep the taxes low. And if we have you working with us, then it all works. But if it's just us doing it, and you guys are raising taxes, it doesn't work. Because just like even with the last tax bill, we lowered taxes, the township lowered taxes, but still the increase was about $11 or so, depending on where you read. And the reason was because everybody else raised their taxes. For everything we saved, the taxes still went up a little bit because everybody else that are the line items on that bill raised taxes. So I think we're kind of just trying to look for your support and help us as best as you can. I know in some instances it may not be, you know, feasible, but I mean, you have a fiduciary duty to kind of roll up your sleeves and see what you can do to save the taxpayers' money. So I think that's where we're at.
And we all recognize, I think we're all of the same mind, and we'd like to do that. The only other thing I'd like to bring up is that the collective bargaining agreement is up this year too. So, you know,
Well,
I mean,
I can tell you, we have a bargaining unit coming in right now, Local 150, for our Public Works Department. We've never had a union in the village of Homer Glen, but we're still not looking to raise taxes. So,
I understand.
I mean, we can always find the easy way and blame something why we're going to, but we have to kind of work a little harder to keep it as low as we can.
okay. And your impact and our impact are very different in terms of what shows up on the tax bill. There's no question about
Yes.
that. So, and when we do it, if we do it, hopefully we don't have to. If we do it, it's going to make a much bigger impact for people. We realize that.
Each of the schools are raising over 6%.
Yeah.
Right.
7.5% and 6%.
Well, that's what they asked for, am I
And
right?
people don't get raises every year from their jobs. So now they're taking money away from them for the taxes that they're going to spend on their families and everything else. People don't realize that. They keep increasing taxes, but if our income doesn't change, how many seniors is in Homer Glen? 50% of the Homer Glen population is seniors. They're on fixed income, right? Over 65 or whatever it is. She's running for mayor, so she probably knows this stuff. So you got a lot of people that are on fixed income that can't afford it, period. So you keep taxing them every year. It compounds with school districts. So it gets worse. So please, we're begging, find ways to restructure things so we don't have this problem. And you're three smart people, you've got a lot of experience at this, please try to find a way around it. Think outside the box like some of us have done, like Dan had explained.
All three of you live here, so you don't want your taxes to go
No.
up. Your decision.
I've been here a long time.
I know. Thanks for having us. Thanks for listening to us.
Next thing, we have a clerk report, and the clerk is not here, so I'm the clerk. And the report is pretty simple. We're having a Christmas, Homer Township Christmas party to raise money for the elections, obviously. And it'll be on the 14th of January at Papa Joe's in Orland Park. And then we're going to have a Lincoln Day dinner for Homer Township like we did last year at Payless Country Club, and that'll be either the 18th of February or the 25th of February. And in the middle, there'll be probably a bunch of candidate-type fundraisers and stuff. But when we have the stuff for the Homer Republican, everything that we get from now on, all the way through, our rent is paid up to April, excuse me, so it's through March. So we have, right now, our goal is one thing: use the money we raise for the elections and just have enough to pay a little bit forward, because we'll have another something happen in the spring. But we gotta win these elections. It's real important. So with that, there was no more for the clerk.
Hey,
So
Steve,
then-
just want to remind you, on January 14th, just as a reminder, that's my birthday. Just in case.
Oh, happy birthday.
All right, Dave.
Then we have a report from Ruben Biasmino. He's the co-chair.
Right now I have no report.
Jay Rhodey, the vice chair.
Nothing other than you may or may not be aware that we will be having an election in April. Steve's brought that up, and we have some petitions at the back of the room. If you haven't signed any of the petitions that are back there, please sign them today.
And Carmen Morella.
Okay, my report is we have $1,345.95 in our account. As Steve said, he always takes my thunder. We're rent's paid up until March, so we're in a good position. We are doing the big fundraiser in January. That was a nice little fundraiser for us last year, and then the Lincoln Day dinner was a good fundraiser. So those are two good fundraisers that support not just our candidates, but it also supports us having this office and be able to do some workshops here, which I think a lot of us found were very good when we just did the one last meeting, which was about the election and stuff like that. So, you know, this is the stuff we like to do. We're not all about just getting together and hashing and fighting about this or that. We're actually do a lot of educating, so we can get precinct captains, we can get, you know, election judges and what their processes are, and then poll watchers, and that was a big help, I think, for everybody. So we just want to keep that going moving forward. So.
And I think everybody in this room is on our email list. So now what you do is ask your neighbors and your friends if they want to be part of the Homer Republicans. Give me their email, and then I'll send them or Jay will be sending them out. You know, the messages when we're having the meetings and all this other stuff, because it will grow.
What you can actually do, we put out a group email regarding meetings, what have you. Probably received those emails. Usually, lately they've been by me or by Steve. If you just want to respond to that email with friends or what have you with their emails, or have them forward the email you get to them, and then have them respond, and we'll add them to the list.
Today I was
Wait 1 second. Then we're going to have committee member reports, and that's you.
fine, great.
Any of you guys got anything else?
Good.
Okay, now we have committee member reports, so Dave, go ahead with the first one.
So I was in Wintrust Bank in Lamont today, and speaking to the banker, and he said in this area, they're breaking into mailboxes, and they're stealing checks. They're getting your routing number and your checking account number, and they're just writing fraudulent checks. So my banker said to me, don't write any more checks or just try to do everything online, because it's a big problem. A lot of fraud is occurring, so he says, in this area. So I'm just letting you know what he told me today.
Sign mailboxes, just like at the post office.
Well, he just said mailboxes. I didn't go into detail.
off the
but-
bat.
I'll tell you what, I just talked to my landlord today. This is the second time that my rent check did not make it to the landlord. Second time in 6 months. And in my mailbox, I had 2 registered letters with the green things still attached to them. They never came to get my signature or anything. So I I don't know what is going on with the mail. Yeah, it's crazy.
Any other committeemen with a report or something? Brent?
Yes, I wanted to talk about Tim Lozinga for a minute. He's the new Central Committee Chair, correct? That's his
Correct.
title. So anyone that he endorses should be not only Republican, but share our values, right? Correct?
Correct.
So somebody needs to talk to him about who he's endorsing for different offices.
You're talking about the consolidated election in February?
The one that
I mean,
is-
in April.
The one's coming up in April. So if you guys, now Ruben and Steve, you talked to him a lot.
He said he's not endorsing in the consolidated election.
So there's absolutely nobody right now that's running
We
for
are,
office.
we endorse our own,
Correct.
not him.
But I'm saying, he's, HTRO is here, he represents even more Republicans that should share the Republican values, i.e. some of the ones on the wall over there. So I've heard he's endorsing somebody else for one of the village spots.
For our village.
Well, he hasn't publicly done it yet.
Well,
And if he does,
well,
Mr. Rubin is second vice chair of the Central
please,
Committee.
talk to him before he opens his mouth.
If there's a problem, that, if there's a problem that he's endorsing people that we removed from the Republican Party, even though they vote Republican in the primary, we removed them. I told them at Central Committee it was like 2 weeks ago. I told them that we removed them because they are working with Democrats. And I am not going to have a person that works with Democrats in our meetings, period. So they had no problem with it. It's in our bylaws. We have that authority, and we did it. So,
The last conversation I had with Tim Lozinga, the Will County Central Committee will not be endorsing anybody in nonpartisan elections.
And personally, he should not be opening his mouth either. Correct?
correct.
Is that
But-
correct?
Yes, correct, but we don't,
Because
let's do
people
like
think
that.
he represents
We-
them.
As of right now, Tim is staying out of consolidated elections. If he gets involved with consolidated elections, then Ruben's the second vice chair. He will have something to say. I will have something to say as a chairman.
Okay.
Other chairmen will have something to say. So I don't think that Tim's going to endorse anybody in the consolidated elections. Dan?
As far as for Dan Bialka, my committeeman report, as of 4 o'clock today, I'd like everybody to know that there has not been any additional people to sign on for the village to run for that election in April. We have Rose Reinders running for the mayor of Village of Homer Glen. We have Chrissy Clausen for trustee, Yvonne Shintek for clerk. We have Jay Rhodey for trustee and Ruben Pazmino for trustee. So that who has been endorsed here today. And anyway, there hasn't been any additional candidates that were put on that list at the end of today. Thank you.
Now, Rosie,
Okay, I just wanted to say that.
it should be Rose Reinders.
Rose Reinders,
I'm
yes.
saying your name the right way for a
Yes,
change.
thank you. Just wanted to say that in the last election here, that I did send out a postcard to each one of my members of my precinct. And actually, I only got 2 cards back that had no address, that were wrong addresses. So everybody in the precinct got them. And it only cost me like $236.
Very
So,
good.
yeah, so I mean, I made the card,
And the 2 cards that had wrong addresses, give me the cards and I'll
Yeah.
take them to the clerk and have them removed off the ballots.
Okay.
So they won't be
I
getting
precinct, yeah,
the ballot.
Yeah, precinct 4, so it was, actually, I was very surprised, but, yeah, it didn't get, hardly nothing, didn't get any feedback, but nothing, no negative or anything. I just sent out a card and just said, precinct 4, your right to vote, and, blah, 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 and I wrote a little handwritten note on the back of it to each one of them, and.
That's a good touch, I've seen that.
Yeah, I wrote it, I just hand wrote it myself, so, and then they, Irma Graphics just copied it, so it worked out really well.
That's good.
Yeah. We had, in my precinct, we had 800 and,
You know, more than me then.
yeah, I think it was 853 voters came out. Yeah, it was good, yeah,
Good.
yeah.
Dave, you had,
Yeah, so I was in Pebble Creek, and there's new families that have been in Pebble Creek for at least 9 months or greater, and I asked them, they registered to vote, they weren't. So this was after the election, this was just this past weekend, and so there are families that have moved into Pebble Creek that are not registered to vote.
well, if you get their addresses,
I know where
we
they're
can
at.
get somebody over there to sign them up.
Okay. Sign them up and how they get signed up.
Actually, I'm gonna have now that you said that, I'll call the clerk up and have her come out here, the Will County clerk, have her come out here and do a voter registration class with everybody, so we'll all be voter registrars.
The easiest way to handle that though at the moment is just to tell them to go
Go
to Will
online.
County's website
Yeah,
online
Super easy, it's easier
and register to vote.
Okay, all right, well.
Online, yes.
Yeah.
That's the easy way, but a lot of people won't do it. So
They won't.
it'll take 15 minutes, so.
Yeah, because some of them have been here for more than 9 months and they still didn't register, you know? so-
There were a lot of people voting, a lot of people were registering to vote at the polls on election day.
Yes,
Yeah.
There
that was a
were
big,
a lot of people registering to vote.
especially in certain precincts.
Jimmy Shake, you had something to say?
Yeah, do we have to wait for another committee meeting to officially endorse the fire candidates here, or can we make a motion to do that here?
Well, here's what.
Because we were waiting for them to
Yeah.
speak.
Well, let me just move ahead with, and then I'll answer your question. We did endorse Rich Davis for JJC Board, and also Rich Davis for Regional Superintendent of Schools Trustee, because they're both compatible offices, he can hold both if he wins both. We endorsed Dave Pala for Lockport Township Fire District. Then we endorsed for the village, Rose Reinders for mayor, Yvonne Chetnik for clerk, Christina Clausen for trustee, Ruben Pasmino for trustee, and Jay Rhodey for trustee. We also endorsed, but we're not going to put the names out until December 12th for the library board and the school boards. There's 3 of them. We have Lockport High School, District 92, 33C, and 91. And what?
We also have some for 92.
And 92, I forgot. 90?
90.
But the idea is we're going to, instead of us saying the names now, we're going to wait till December 12th. But all those people from all those different school districts that are supported by We the Parents Illinois, that's the groups that we're going to endorse. So as you can see, we've got a monster list going here. And then the question was Jimmy just asked, because you guys asked, this fire district came. So I'm going to ask the committeemen, I need a motion from Jim to see if we want to vote to endorse now or if we want to wait. So let's do it in the affirmative motion. You're going to make a motion to...
I want to make a motion to endorse now.
I'll second that.
Okay, then I'm going to call the roll. Jimmy Shake.
Yes.
Any discussion, Steve?
Oh, I'm sorry, thank you. Any discussion?
Should we do it now, or should we wait till? it's
Well,
just
that's why you're
committee?
voting.
I mean, but maybe we should
No,
just wait till it's just
the
committee.
vote is now.
Okay.
All right, so Jimmy Shakes yes, I'm a yes. Jay Rhodey,
Yes.
Rose Reinders,
Yes.
Brent Porfilio,
Is there anybody else? It's just those 3?
yeah,
And they're running for re-election.
correct.
And we have no one else to go put
No.
on plate, right? Then yes.
Okay, John Walters,
Yes.
Ruben Pasmino,
Yes.
Carmen Morello.
Yes.
Carlson left, but he told me I would be his proxy if he leaves it, so he's a yes. Bonomo, Mike
Yes.
Bonomo,
Yes.
Dan Fialco,
Yes.
Christina Clausen,
Yes.
Dave Aniak.
Yes.
Okay, it's unanimous, so
Wow.
now we're going to have a motion.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, why you're the one that was missing.
Yeah, she wasn't here earlier.
That's why I had good math, I just had I had someone there. And John Walters is you.
Yes.
So anyway, okay, now we need a motion to endorse the three of them. I'm assuming that,
I'll make the motion.
okay, Jay's making a motion to endorse.
I will second.
Okay,
Rosie had the second.
Oh, did she?
Yes.
Sorry. I knew.
okay. Myself, yes. Jim Shake,
Yes.
Jay Rhodey,
Yes.
Rose Reinders,
Yes.
Rem Perfilio,
This is for the three trustees?
yes.
The mayor and the clerk, right?
No, this is for the fire.
This is for the first.
It was
No, that
the
motion.
motion to-
That was
Vote
the,
now.
That was a motion to vote now.
So yes, again, yes. You
John
gotta
Wal-
say before you. when the
John
motion-
Walters, yes. Ruben Benz-Meadam,
Yes.
Carmen Corolla,
Yes.
Mike Carlson's a yes. Mike Bonomo,
Yes.
Anthony Alco,
Yes.
Yvonne Chetnik,
Yes.
Chrissy Clausen,
Yes.
Dave Aniak.
Yes.
Okay, yes, unanimous too, so you guys are all endorsed.
Thanks very much, folks.
Okay. Okay, we're on questions and that's it.
Can I say something?
Committee member reports, we already had that.
That-
Well, Chrissy,
Okay, so how many committeemen didn't speak yet? Okay, so we've got Mike and Chrissy. Chrissy, you go first.
Okay, I just want to, this might not be a very popular thing to say, but I'm going to say it because I've been talking to a lot of people after the election. A lot of people that were candidates worked very hard, and what went wrong? Mail-in ballots. I think we should jump on board. So I definitely think as PCs, if they're not getting out to vote, we got to bring the vote to them. That's what the Democrats are doing. We need to play on their game too. So let's not be afraid of it. Let's embrace it, and let's make that happen. We do have an older group here in Homer Glen. A lot of them might not want to get out, so we need to bring the vote to them. So we need to educate them on how to get a ballot and all that.
with that question that you just did, what would just say yes or no without going for a roll call on this, but we're planning 2 mailers. And what Chrissy just said is what I'm hearing from the whole state. They're calling, everyone's telling me the same thing. That we think you have to vote, we've always told people, vote it the day of. And the day of ain't working. And so we have to get the early vote out. That's why we're getting killed. So, what
Not
do you
just
guys
the early
think?
vote, it's just the mail, it's just the people
The
that
mail vote.
normally don't vote.
Right, the mail
The
vote. I
lazy
call it
voters.
early, but the
Yeah,
mail vote.
or the,
But anyway, what do you guys think about doing a third mailer? Which would mean that we're gonna have to be a lot more generous at our January fundraiser. Would you guys think that, just a show of hands, how many think that would be worth it to do a mailer specifically for early voting?
Mail-in voting?
Mail-in voting?
Yeah, the mail-in, the
like
mail-in.
on, like on
And
something.
Chrissy's gonna be in charge of that.
Oh, great.
No, I mean, putting it
Yes,
together.
yes.
We'll get the mail list and we'll go through the, you know,
The people that we need, yes.
right.
I have a question.
Sure.
So right now, currently, in the way things have gone in our country in the past 2 years, obviously, mail-in voting, there's a lot of talk there that it's not genuine. We know this. We know that the Republicans and the Conservatives have been saying, do your best, do your damnedest to go the day of and vote in person. And Chrissy, are you suggesting that there's some people
No.
that don't want to vote in person that may not vote at all? So do we need to
Here's what I'm
promote?
suggesting, and here's what we're finding out. Like, we all need to go vote in person. We're gonna vote in person, but there is a group of people that don't vote. They just, they're either registered and just don't vote, and the Democrats are going to them. They're telling them, here you go, this is how you get a ballot, just sent to your home, you just send it back, you're done. You don't have to go wait in line, you don't have to do all this stuff. They're
It's a
either-
So we're not
They're the
promoting the
old-
hard R, where they're not,
Well-
where they're not promoting the hard Ds, they're going
No,
after the people
they're
that
going
are
after
voting.
the Democrats that don't don't get out and
We have
vote.
an
We're gonna
expert
go
here.
after the Republicans that don't get out and vote.
Chris, we have an expert here from Core Strategies.
So, let's hear it.
You want to stand up so we can...
I don't need to be on camera. I don't need to be on camera. But this is how it works. So we live in the laziest generation of all time.
Yep.
The laziest generation of all time. It doesn't matter that it takes 5 minutes to drive to Homer Township, or it takes 12 minutes to drive to Lockport Township to early vote, or it takes 2 minutes to drive to precinct on election day. That's an inconvenience for people. So what the Democrats have done, this is part of the reason why Republicans lost the midterms, now not the only reason, is that what Democrats do is that they've taken away the whole who is more enthusiastic. Neither side is more enthusiastic anymore. The Democrats are signed up for permanent vote by mail. Those soft Democrats, they don't have an excuse anymore to not vote. What do? They vote. It's up to the Republican Party now. It's not about telling your people who would vote on election day, vote by mail just in case you can get there. You know, maybe we do that. That's more of a vote early thing, but those people are going to vote anyway, by and large. The goal is to find those people, those demographics of voter, be they non-registered as we talked about earlier, or just low-frequented voters, tell them, listen, I'm from the Republican organization, you're a Republican. You did not vote last year. You haven't voted in the last 3 years for whatever reason. Why haven't you done so? How would you like to permanently vote by mail and be a Republican voter for us? Now, that's maybe not the perfect way to word it, but it's how it needs to be done. We need to increase, it's not about moving a vote from here to here, it's moving a vote from not voting to voting.
Yep, very good.
So what you're saying is the Democrats are putting mail-out ballots to only the Democrat?
Well, they're encouraging it amongst the Democrats, because the thing is that the Republican Party stigmatized mail-in ballots.
Yes.
They did.
Yes.
They stigmatized mail-in ballots, and now Republicans say, oh, I'm not going to do that. The problem is that when they say that, people get less, how do I say this? They are less enthusiastic about the system as a whole, so they don't vote at all.
Yep.
We need those people to say, it is okay, because we're getting killed by mail-in ballots. If we overwhelm the Democrats with mail-in ballots, you can track them. You can track them. You can track the person. You don't even need a FOIA request. Steve or any precinct committeeman in this room can go on the clerk's office, fill out a form, and say, I need the list of people who requested mail-in ballots. And if you know somebody in your precinct requested a mail-in ballot, you can track that ballot from when it was requested, when it was received, when it was sent in, and when it was processed by the clerk's office. It's easier to do than ever. They're giving us all the resources to do this. There's no reason why we can't do it as well.
I get that every Friday.
Now, is there a list of, that we can get?
We
I
will
get
get
that.
that.
Of Republicans that
I
didn't
get it
vote?
every Friday from
Of
the
Republicans that didn't vote in the last election?
No.
Yep, no, that's a different, but we can get that.
But that would be the target.
That would be the target. Hey, sign
That
up
we-
for mail-in.
That's not a problem, we can get that
Yes.
list.
But those are the people that go to door, here, sign up for
Yes, we
mail-in.
can get
We
it.
can get
We
it.
can get it.
I
We can get it. We're gonna get it.
believe me, we got good data.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I would knock on every door in my precinct of people, Republicans that didn't vote.
We're getting lists that are very specific for specific
Okay,
things.
okay.
Some things are
So,
changing, so.
we don't want to get too far in depth,
No,
but Rosie?
I think another thing we have to consider at this time of the year is that, we've got a lot of people that go down to Florida. And sometimes they're gone before
snowbirds, yep.
before the date of early voting. Or, so I mean, yeah, and what happens is they come back and it's too late.
Yep.
So I think we have to target those people too, because if they're here, they will vote. But in the event that they're not here, they always leave before.
It might be too late already for some of them. They do
Yeah.
that Thanksgiving.
Yeah, but they could give their mail-in ballot.
I
Anything
think if
mail
we make sure that those people have mail-in ballots,
Yes,
those are, you know what I mean, we have to target those people as well.
yes.
Yeah, because I know like my neighbors across the street, they came and knocked on my door the other day, and they said, we're gonna be leaving January, when is early voting, because we want to make sure that we can vote for you. And I said, you have to, I said, you're gonna have to do a mail-in ballot.
They get their mail forward.
Yeah,
Right.
that's all you're gonna be able to do.
We don't have to
But
decide
they
on
don't get their
mail.
mail forwarded.
We don't have to decide on mail,
They
right?
don't get their mail forwarded, they leave their mail here, and then their son gets it. And when they come back, they go through all of it.
Well, I think it's something that should be explored.
Yeah.
Definitely, well, let's talk about it more.
Yeah.
Let's get
Well,
that
I've
done.
seen lists from the county where people go down to Florida, but their ballot is sent to Florida. So I think the majority, I'm not saying all, but the majority of those snowbirds, yeah, they're pretty conscious about voting,
Yeah.
whether they're Democrat or Republican.
Right, we gotta make sure.
But you've got a good point.
Yeah.
You still need to target them.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Okay, you know what, we could talk all night about this stuff, so Mike Bonomo was gonna talk, then after that, we were going to go to mug shots, and we could talk about whatever comes to your minds. And I know what I'm talking about, because I drink pop.
Not all of that.
Sorry to hear that.
Well, go ahead.
Well, I'm going to speak for the next 9 minutes. But I would like to say, we just have to put in wallpaper all around this room, just put the word "we." You know, we're better together. We're a "we" organization, not an "I" organization. And I think, you know, Steve proved the point when we work together as a team, we can make the, you know, we can win elections, and that's what it's all about. So, you know, you're definitely you're the leader, and you put this group together. I think Steve should get a round of applause for all of our
We got Ruben and Jay and me,
But the reason
all
why
the same.
The reason why a lot of us are here are because of you, but you know, we have to be real about that.
But I look at it like, I want to win stuff. I don't get no fucking, I swear to God. You know, but you know what? I don't got no big ego where I got to massage my head every day. It's dumb. So with a group like we got, it's impossible for one guy to do a good job.
Yeah.
So we got 3 guys. 1, 2, 3. And guess what? When we got 3, we also got a clerk, Jennifer, who gets out and works her can off. Carmen, who sits there and makes sure we don't screw nothing up, because the son of a bitch is really good with numbers. But he also goes out and he's a notary, he helps it. So the people on our board make the group function. The group functions well because they're enthused and they want to win. And we're not taking any survivors anymore. You know, we're going to fight Democrats. It's stupid to go there and negotiate and say, you know what, because that's what's happening at the county now. It's 11 to 11. I'm going to be the Republican whip. So guess what? I know that they're going to try to do things that are inappropriate in my brain. Real good for them, but crappy for us. I won't accept it. And I'm not going to say what's going to happen, but I guarantee you that when I start being the whip, they're going to get whipped. I'm not going to stand back and let people roll over me. We're a train and this group goes forward, and at the county now we're equal. And so that means that we're going to become a train that doesn't stop. And if they want to get in front of our train, there might be an explosion. But guess what? We're not going to give in, because I would rather be like Father Tom, the other priest, the Polish one.
Greg.
No, Father Greg from the Mother Good Council. He said, I would rather die with a gun in my hand than become communist again. And that's what the priest told me. And guess what? That's what's going on. So I would rather die in battle against these people than to sit back on my butt and get fat and drink beer. So guess what? I decided to fight. And that's what all these guys, Ruben, they tried to wreck his bar. And he had to defend his bar. And guess what? I respect that. I think that's so important that he's got the courage to defend his bar instead of just sitting there saying, wreck it, I'm scared of you. Jay, he's out working his can off with us all the time. We go by the township, the junkie manger thing that we had, all of a sudden now got a pretty manger. It's like really cool, and it's dedicated to Olivia Porter. It's a friend of ours' kid that got dead a long time ago.
Olivia died in a car accident earlier this year on the way to her horse stable. She had a love for animals. So with the gorgeous manger display that the Clausens donated last year, we built a manger for the nativity scene, I should say, for the figurines that are really nice. So hopefully in Olivia's memory. Olivia's parents are from the community.
Olivia's daughter.
They were very involved. They were very involved 10, 15 years ago when the Tea Party movement was going on. Friends with Dan Proft and what have you.
We had the largest Tea Party in the state of Illinois, over 11,000 members, the Will County Tea Party Alliance.
I'm not trying to be rude, but I believe Mike Bonomo had the floor and he
I thought he was done.
I had a few other things to say.
I thought he was
No,
done.
I wasn't really done, but I wasn't really, but I
I'm just talking about the weed, them, we ain't.
No, we had the wallpaper, that's fine.
We got a lot of weeds.
But, you know, and I go back to, when you look at the experience and the knowledge in this room, I think it's second to none. I mean, you have Rosie owning a business, you have Carmen owning a business, you own a business, Ruben owns a business, you're a leader, no doubt. Christina owns a business, I mean, you know.
I used to have 5 businesses.
Yeah, exactly, so all of us know
Nobody
what
knows
it's
what they
like. Everyone knows what it's like to organize, to construct, to be fiscally responsible, all the above. There's nobody that has a group like this. So I go back to the weed thing, as a unit together, no one could beat us. And I'm confident in it.
I had one thing to say, just really quick.
I'm done.
I want to give a special thank you and a shout out to a person who during the last campaign season was out there 100% of the time. She owns a business, she has a family, she was involved in like 4 or 5 different campaigns. She's doing a lot of stuff for the school board. Jay, thank you for that as well. But Christina Clausen, I really got to give you the biggest heartfelt thank you.
With that, I think we're just notified. What's
3
that?
minutes.
Can I say something?
Go ahead, we got 3 minutes, and then we got to adjourn.
I would just like to thank I would really like to give a shout out and a thank you to all the precinct captains. By working together, we really proved that that no matter what they threw at us, we all prevailed. And Steve prevailed, no matter all the mudslinging, all the innuendos, all the dirt, all the Facebook. We rose above it, and that's what we need to do for this next election. We need to work together. We need to go out there and just do old-fashioned footwork like we've done in the past. And we've got to target the people, we've got to talk to them, we've got to let them know what we stand for. And if we stand together, we will definitely prevail this next election as well. So I just want to say thank you to everybody that worked so hard in this election.
1 minute.
Motion to adjourn, anybody?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, now we go to motion.